order. If everyone would please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. If you didn't sign in, here you go. You can sign in and bring it back. Thank you. If you didn't sign in, please make sure you do sign in. Thank you guys for coming. I know this is a busy week, so we appreciate you all keep being here. Next is the roll call. Let the minutes show that all 5 board members are present. Moving into informational items, first is the spotlight report, which is the WAVE Foundation. So I don't know who's gonna. Okay, Dr. Baker.
For those of you who may not be aware, we have a very special group of individuals who have worked to support our students, our teachers, and our schools for many, many years. And those individuals have made enormous contributions to the success of our kids in our district. And we just wanted to recognize that group of individuals tonight who are members of the WAVE Foundation. For those of you who may not be aware, and this includes the students that are with us, the WAVE Foundation, also known as the Walton Verona Educational Foundation, is a charitable organization dedicated to promoting Walton Verona schools in a way that will better serve our students. The mission of the WAVE Foundation is to provide resources to promote and enhance the academic opportunities of the students of the Walton Verona School District, so that they may enjoy a more enriched life, expand their career opportunities, and become contributing members to our community and society in general. Over the past 25 plus years, the WAVE Foundation has awarded well over $100,000 in grants to further this mission. The current WAVE Foundation board members are Mills Rouse, Charlotte Kemper, Dennis Rich, Steve Coffin, Darren Hoare, Tom Alford, and Andy Michael. And some of those individuals are with us this evening, so if you wouldn't mind to come on up front, I have a special award to give you, and we will, if it's okay with everyone, do a group picture.
We went to Kroger's the other day.
If you guys want to exit, feel free, Dennis. He's going to say, okay, all right, thank you. Next is the approval of the agenda. First by Heather. Is there discussion or questions? Is there a second on the motion? Second by Kyle. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Next is the principals, the ECC, the bridge report. So let's start with Luke.
I will go over just a handful of highlights. So first thing that I put on there, we were able to do our bridge ceremony. That went really, really well. It did kind of point out how we're growing because I limited it to 2 people per child, thinking that would help us with capacity. And our bleachers were pretty full with that. Mr. Baker, you were there, you saw us. We're growing over there. Also, we're going to have something that we picked up this past year that I think we're going to continue doing. We're going to do a kindergarten soft opening on August 17th to get those kiddos in there for just a half day in the morning to get them acclimated to the building. The teachers felt like that was a really good and successful thing that we kind of picked up as a result of the pandemic, so we'll call that at least one little positive thing to come from that. We learned something good that will benefit us. Kindergarten registration update. We are currently on your report, I believe it says 98. I checked as of right before I left the office this afternoon, we were at 103 for in-district, so we've got 5 more additional students that have registered since I filled this out late last week. And then last thing I want to point out is just our MAP scores for the spring that came back. That's on that second page of the report. And specifically, the thing I want to point out is our conditional growth percentile in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade with math, as well as our student growth percentile and our Ames web scores for kindergarten and first. 50th percentile would be what we would call expected growth. And the farther above that you go, the more exceptional the growth is. And to look at 2nd grade with reading at 67, math at 65, and 3rd grade 69 for reading, 65.5 for math. And then our fall, our 4th grade for reading was 55 and a 68 for math. That is a testament to the hard work of our teachers and our families and our students. You can see I got the 2018-19 scores there. I don't have the information from last spring. To just give us some type of comparison, we are a smidge behind where we normally are on RIT. But considering everything that we've been through, I couldn't be more pleased with the way these things progressed for us. Those growth numbers are outstanding. I don't know if we'll ever match them. So the teachers that are here, that's all to you all. They did an absolutely fantastic job. So that's all I got. Any questions for me?
Yeah, you said 103 in districts. What do we have out of district for teachers' children?
Right now, we have 16 total out-of-district applications. 4 of those are employee children.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Nash, Preschool.
Feel very honorable without having a podium.
All right, in front of you is the board report from the high school, and I have summarized the dual credit enrollment and success rate for Walton Verona this year. On this year, on a total, we have 311 enrollments in dual credit courses, and we have given 933 dual credits to our students, and those are primarily juniors and seniors. So I know recently the U.S. World News Report came out and had in there a 40% score of college readiness. And that score is calculated strictly on AP courses. So we have AP Calculus, and we have AP Art Portfolio. And it's a small fraction of our course offering. Majority of our kids stay in school for state schools, so for them to have a dual credit on their transcript to transfer into college benefits them because there's some laws about reciprocity of dual credits within the state. So looking at that U.S. World News Report too and going through the data, we were number 3 in the state for schools that, in the ranking, that did not have a college readiness score, meaning they didn't do enough dual AP classes to earn that score. So we were number 3 in terms of schools that didn't have those AP classes. One other thing that I'll point out is our pass rate on our dual credit is over 99%. And I would put that above any school in the state for AP success rate. And these kids are walking away with the dual credit. We also offer the CLEP test. These numbers are not accurate that is in front of you. Last week we offered, we added 24 additional CLEP to our offering with about a 62% pass rate of those CLEP scores. So you can see what our kids are learning here at Walton Verona is recognized by many institutions as quality of work equal to dual credit in college. And I put some numbers on there to give you a little comparison. So 2 years ago, we've essentially tripled what we're offering in dual credit. And a lot of that is we've added the composition course in our English department. Mr. Sandlin added that financial literacy course. And what we're able to do there is, like in college, it would be a Tuesday, Thursday section and a Monday, Wednesday. So we've kind of scheduled those classes either first period or last period of the day so the kids can take a Monday, Wednesday section, and then if they're in the related course that kind of piggybacks on that time slot, the Tuesday, Thursday, they can take 2 dual credits in the first period, 2 dual credits in the 6th period, and 6th period repeats itself after January. So right there are 6 potential courses. And that's a full semester of college. My first semester in college, I took 5 classes at a time with the science labs and stuff. It was just too much. I had to back it down a few credits. I'll put that up against any school our size, what we're doing. So that is also our staff. We have some staff that are certified to teach these dual credit classes, and we're utilizing the NKU professors. And I will also thank our partners at the vocational school. Ms. Williams has worked really hard to get their high school classes dual credit status as well. In some cases, the same instructors that teach the course at Gateway are the ones that are teaching at the vocational school. So those numbers, I think, have a lot of positive about them. So I'm really thrilled that a school of our size, with our staff, 550, 560 kids, can have that many kids walking down the graduation hallway, which we will tomorrow night with this many dual credits.
If I could just add some things to that, I want to echo some of the things that Mr. Nash said. There's this comparison between AP and dual credit, and a lot of the rankings weight, for lack of a better way of saying it, the AP courses much more than they do the dual credit. 99% of our students who take a dual credit class earn those college credits. 52% of the students who attend Beechwood High School and take an AP class get college credit for those courses. 52%. 63% of students at Fort Thomas Highlands earn college credit for the AP courses. So this district has made the choice to invest in dual credit. And I think that choice, that decision is paying dividends for our kids year after year after year. So thank you, Mr. Nash, for what your staff how you all continue to grow this program.
And one of the other recent classes that we've added is the Kentucky State dual credit algebra, college algebra class, and that has grown to 2 sections. And again, Mr. Sandlin has 52 kids in that morning FLC class, and Ms. Sampson, same thing. We're really appreciative that they do that, because you may only be teaching half of them at a time, but when assignments come due to grade, it's not 25, it's 52 coming in at the same time. So we are very appreciative of that, and those numbers there, again, and our partners at vocational school, those students are getting not only college credit for their classes, but they're also then getting their career-ready certifications. So we are getting both college and career-ready there, and most of those programs in vocational school are the highly demanded programs. So that is actually a bonus point in the calculation of our accountability.
Any questions for Mr. Nash? Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Caitlin with the ECC.
I just have 2 things to report to you guys from the preschool. We had our preschool graduation ceremony last week. We had a wonderful turnout. This place looked great, and the kids did a really good job. So that was a lot of fun. And then we have been doing screenings the last 3 days. We have been very hard at work here. We were able to screen 54 students total. Of that 54, we've got 29 that are coming in with a suspected disability for some RTI. We did have some income eligible students, and then 13 that were interested in tuition. So with our returning numbers, that puts us at potentially starting the year with about 91 students, which would be a little bit of a jump from the 78 that we have this year. So, any questions?
Thank you. Bob, you want to the bridge?
Just wanted to comment that the bridge program finished strong this May. Down at the bottom there, you'll see some of my celebrations that I've listed there. A couple I'll point out loud. Just here this week, with just a few days to go, we had a young lady earn that 20-second credit. We were very, very pleased with that and excited for her. It was quite a struggle, but she did it, which brought our total up to 7 kids for the year. We graduated and left our bridge program with a diploma, which was fantastic. Also, another highlight of the year, we're going to be sending 2 kids back to the high school as they are caught up. They did what they needed to do, and again, that's worth noting too. Very pleased with that. Excited for those kids as well. So, all in all, it was a pretty good year, I thought. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Dr. Raker's going to give the middle school report.
Board members, we had 4 different award ceremonies for the middle school this week. We had 1 per grade level, and those were very well attended. It's always great to see students recognized for their hard work and performance in the classroom and in the fine arts classes. Mr. Moore-Wessel included some math data for you in his report. Some things I'll highlight on the first page of his report. When you look at 5th grade math, you will see that on average there was a 4.9% growth in RIT scores for all students, but in our at-risk students, that growth was higher. For free reduced lunch students, that growth was 6.2. For those students who have an IEP, that growth was 6.1, and that trend continues. In 6th grade math, all students, the growth was 4.7. Free reduced lunch was 5.2, special education 6.9, and so on. So I think that speaks to the fact that our middle school is being very intentional in working with those students that are at risk, especially in math. You're all aware that that is a focus of ours. So we're seeing significant growth at our elementary. We're seeing some good growth at our middle school, especially among those students who tend to struggle. So we're very happy about that. On the second page, Mr. Moore-Wessel's report, you will see again some different math data, just in a different format. Some things I'll point out. The average scores for the 18-19 school year in math was a 57. This year it's a 65. So that's a pretty good result considering everything our kids have been through. And again, that trend continues in some other areas. So some good data, some encouraging data from our middle school again. Those students did complete the K-Prep assessment recently, and we'll get that data back in the fall, and would certainly expect that the K-Prep data will mirror to a great extent the math data.
I just want to personally thank you, because I know when you first came here, we had a conversation about what some of our weaknesses were, and I told you it was math. Math from the get-go, from the 2nd, 3rd grade level. And then you saw the test results, and you saw it without, the data was right there in front of you. And you met with Rob and Luke and Moore-Wessel, and you've got them all trended. So thank you for leading the charge, because it's a big deal, because our math has struggled for quite a while. So I'm glad to see these numbers, even in the middle of the pandemic, moving in the right direction, because it's important for the kids. So thank you guys for putting a lot of focus and energy into that. I appreciate it. Any other questions about the middle school report?
If there's supposed to be a second page, I don't have pages.
I'm sorry.
I only have 1 page, if there's supposed to be 2.
There's only one.
Pretty data.
One says 2021 spring math averages, and the other page says, well, it's the first page of the report.
Mine looks like there should have been 2, like if you look.
This is the first page, and this is what the second page looks like.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Maybe I'll have it front.
Okay, I'll get you the second page in your email tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, next would be participation and enrollment. Dr. Rob.
Again, this month just staying pretty steady, as you can see there with our overall enrollment, and our percentage of participation remained in the mid to high 90s, even through bitter in there. So we were happy with that, and I think that's a pretty close, true reflection of the participation that we got. So, and that's good. So Next month, it'll close out this participation era. Probably won't hear about this anymore for the rest of your lives.
It's fine by
We'll be back
me.
to regular old attendance next year. Any questions on the participation or the enrollment?
Thank you. Next is construction report. Jeremy said to be here with us tonight, so Dr. Baker's going to give his report.
Board members, we are closing out several projects finally, including this facility, the Early Childhood Center, phase 2 of our work on the track, the middle school renovations, and the athletic complex paving project from last summer. We do have a revised BG1 on the agenda tonight for the security vestibule at our high school. And the reason that BG1 is on your agenda is because the school district was allocated some school safety money. We paid for the security vestibule out of general fund. And we've received permission from KDE to pay for that out of the school safety money that was allocated to our district. So the money that was spent on the vestibule will go back to our general fund. And we'll pay for that out of the safety money. Several projects going on this summer, including ventilation at our field house, some work on the playground at the elementary, some work on the fencing at the softball field, new acrylic panels in our greenhouse that are badly needed. Those panels are supposed to last 10 years, and ours are currently 14 years old. So we're replacing those. Some much needed work on our HVAC system, our bus garage, as well as performing some energy audits throughout the district. Jeremy and Kevin and I met with some folks from Performance Services, and we'll be meeting with another company in the near future to consider an energy audit for our district so that we can become as efficient as we can be, so that we can save the district a little bit of money there. We also have some projects in the mobile units, our elementary, specifically the bathroom areas. We used one of those this year for Brooke Little's STEM class, and it's very likely we'll have another class in a mobile unit next year. So we'll be doing some work to prepare that mobile unit for that class.
Any questions on the construction report? Next is personnel. Did everybody get a chance to look at that? I was confused. There was a lot of movement going on there.
It's that time of year.
There's a lot of movement going on over there. And across buildings, I had to step back and look at that. Any questions on that? Next is the superintendent's expense report for April. Oh, no, never mind. That's not. Did everybody have a chance to look at that? Next would be other. So we have 3 people. You want to go first? I'm sorry.
Well, just a couple quick announcements. I think everybody's aware that we do have an event tomorrow night. We have an in-person graduation that will look very much like our traditional graduations. We're all very, very happy about that. Within the next couple of weeks, we're going to start sharing information about the next school year. We want to, we'll give folks a couple of weeks to kind of catch their breath. We'll start sharing some information with the community about schedule pickups and things of that nature. Our Quest group will be leaving soon. They leave on June the 3rd and will return on the 10th. And today was a fun day for me because I was able to deliver letters to most of our employees. I'll wrap it up tomorrow, just informing them what their salaries will be next year. As you know, you approved a salary schedule that granted our employees a nice raise. So delivering those letters today was a lot of fun and was certainly well deserved, by our employees.
I also have something in other principals. 2 of you here. You are free to not attend in June and July, so take the month off, have some time with your families. We'll see you back in August. Ready to go? So if someone pass that on to Mr. Morris, I appreciate it. Okay, next is the audience of citizens. So we have 3 signed up to speak tonight. So I'm going to ask Karen.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to go first so I can keep the other 2 together?
Yeah, I can go first, no problem.
Okay. So there's 3 of you signed up to speak tonight, so I'm going to ask that you could each keep it to 5 minutes. When you get to
I'll not just.
last week I didn't hold you to it, you're the only one.
I know.
So,
really quickly.
that's it. So it's at the 4 minute and 30 second mark, I'll kind of raise my hand so you know, so you can kind of gather your thoughts and wrap it up at the end. You're welcome. Okay.
This is kind of like 5 minutes.
I won't start your time until you start your talk.
I can run, but
No.
I'm just here to study.
I'll let you get to your quote-unquote podium.
I might put my magic podium. Karen, can I use your table? Okay, thank you. Okay, so last week you guys were kind enough to let me come and speak, and I was trying to get my idea across of something great that came out of the March schedule that we had, the 4 days in class, and then we had that, I'm not going to say the V word, but we had that Friday where we were doing different things, right? And so right off the bat, I felt that maybe I was just inundating you guys with way too much research on, why teachers, should be given quality time to provide quality education, and why our kids need to, get better. We have to get better, right? That was the whole point. So I told you that since last week was a quality one, I'm going to give you quality one this week. So, okay, so what's going to happen here? First of all, if you have any question, I'm trying to get the facts across more than anything in the world, okay? Quality versus quantity, okay? We want to give our students the best education possible, and we can't do that if we don't have quality teachers getting quality lessons, right? We can't do that with the rat race that we're going through, and on the treadmill that we're running, just trying to make it, right? So that's where I'm at with this whole thing. The idea that I was trying to suggest was what we would have, and I'm not using that big word again, we're going to use I-Fridays, right? We're a little more I-Friday type thing, we're bring up technology. I-Fridays could be instructional, innovative, individual, all this kind of stuff. And what we would do on Fridays is we would change the way we do things on Fridays. It wouldn't be the typical, 5 lessons, kids sitting in a desk, 1 hour, moving the next one, 1 hour, 1 hour. We would set it up every school, okay, and I'll get to that part later. But we would set it up to where when kids come into the school, they would go to the places they need the most help with. Okay, so you got your math kid that's a genius. He doesn't need to go sit in math for 40 minutes, right? He could go somewhere else and get something from somebody else. So it would be like an open, fluid type of thing. And that's what we were trying to figure out. So that is my what. My what is to have an I-Friday. So what I did on the front, that's my quality thing. I'm trying to keep it simple. You can see up there front, that's what it would look like, right? Okay, so cool. So that's the what. The why. The why do you want to do this? Well, first of all, we need to prepare our kids for online classes. College, right? And we got some college people here. They don't do the sit in your seat 7 days a week, or 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. They don't do that in college. They have to know how to take online courses. They have to know how to be accountable for their work. They have to be responsible. They have to have time management. And we could actually help them with that if we could just figure out a way to implement some sort of online activity during the day. I will tell you, one of you guys brought up last week about how kids are cheating, okay? So I got working on that one pretty good, so I'll tell you really quick, okay? So what happened was, I put up this really great little worksheet, right? And I thought it was great. I was like, oh, this is fun, we're gonna have so much fun with it. And all of a sudden, man, these answers are coming in, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh my gosh! And so I go back to my worksheet, and that kid went in and took my worksheet out, took a picture of the answers, and put it into place of my worksheet, right? So I had a choice there. I could get all upset and but I'm like, that's a challenge. I took that as a challenge. And so from that point on, I changed the whole way that I taught my class. I changed the whole way that I provided assessments. I changed everything because we have to do that. We cannot keep doing the same things over and over again. All right, so some of the things. One of you guys said that my kid did nothing. My kid did nothing on Fridays. Well, and that's sad, right? And again, sometimes if in school they do nothing. We can only do so much. But the fact is, if your kid goes to work and your boss gives them a job to do and they do nothing, they don't get that. They're not going to get fired. So in school, we got to hold them accountable, and it has to be a parent-teacher thing. We can't come to the house and make them do their work, right? So we have to work together to teach our kids to be responsible and to complete work and to be ready for that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm my little sob story here. Okay. So we had a kid who was doing, we'll call him Bobo. So Bobo, during the first part of the year, he did nothing, and it was a home thing, right? It was a home thing. They really did try, and we tried, and we did everything we possibly could. Then we came back to the AV virtual. When he was at school, couldn't get him in class on time, couldn't get to school on time, and when he was in school, he was sitting way back in the back, shoulders down, just really having a really tough time, okay? Couldn't do anything, right? So then we started bringing him in on Fridays, right? And he was given a list of 20 assignments. I had like 20 assignments that he needed to work on, each one of us, So he would come in and work with me one Friday, he worked with the math teacher one another one, like that. Anyway, so over time, over all these Fridays, we gave this kid this individual attention, and it was awesome because you could actually see his demeanor in the hallway. You could see his demeanor in the class. classroom. He was a little happier. He was a little more willing to talk to us and all that kind of stuff. So on the last day, he's sitting in my room, and he's looking at the last assignment. He finished it. He's like, Miss Rogers, I just got a 20 on my last assignment. And thank God that Lori Angel and Debbie McNeil were standing right there. We did a complete cheer, a whole cheer celebration. We were jumping up. Did you seriously just raise your hand? I'm talking as fast as I can. Okay, anyway, long story short, that kid's attitude about school has changed completely, and it's all because we had the Fridays to work with him. It would not have worked if we were not with him on his other days. Okay, so I'm going to skip forward. All classes, how to okay, I already said that stuff. All right, so here we go. My biggest problem is this whole idea was blown out of proportion. My biggest issue was the fact that there were ideas that I had. This is my story, and I'll put me up to this, by the way, because it's me, because I'm starting that way. The point is that when it first went out, you guys did not get the facts. Okay, the reason I know that is because none of you guys didn't talk to me. Okay, I'm done. I'm almost done here. But I needed you to come talk to me to understand what I was saying. That's why last week was such a bummer. Okay, so one of the things I did was I went back and looked at the email. I sent out my email to the Walton Verona Middle School faculty. Right, send it out there. That should be like 30 names. Right, we got 77 names on that middle school faculty list. Somehow, someone in the community got a hold of our counselor and said, "What is this about the middle school? What did you before this?" And I was like, wait a minute, I just wanted a conversation. Okay, that's all I wanted to do because I think it's important that we rethink how we do things. So long story short, Dr. Baker and I had a fantastic conversation today. We talked about, ideas. I know I can't do this next year. I get that. But he gets what I'm trying to say. He got what I was trying to say, and David, you responded to my email, right? I appreciate that. And the whole idea is to make our school better. Because we need, that's what the kids deserve better. And so that was my whole thing. So I wanted to come up and, give you more of a quality talk than a little quantity thing. Because you know how that stuff goes. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, next will be Haley Neely about Senate Bill 128.
Okay, I'll try to fit it in 5 minutes. So, good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Haley Neely, and I'm a senior here at Walton Verona, and also a member of the girls basketball team. I moved to Walton Verona School District about 6 years ago, and I instantly fell in love with the atmosphere that the school has to offer for their students and their staff, and the tight connection that the whole community has with one another. I quickly learned that everyone within the cities of both Walton and Verona truly care about the well-being of all students, and that the school district does whatever they can to ensure that once we graduate from this chapter in our life, that we feel confident in the next steps that we take toward our future, whatever that may be. I don't think it's a secret that everyone in Northern Kentucky knows that Walton prides itself on giving their students the best education possible, and quite frankly, our school has had great success doing that in many years past. Back in March of 2020, everyone's world was flipped upside down due to the rise of the COVID-19 pandemic. We were forced to find a new way to live our lives, and every single staff member and student struggled to both teach and learn the criteria at such a high level that we were all used to. And now in May of 2021, although the effects of the pandemic have gradually become less, it's no secret that the whole school year this year was altered because of COVID-19. And I understand that firsthand the seniors of 2020 were greatly affected by the pandemic and had many things taken from them, as my brother was a member of that class. And I also realized that the seniors of the 2021 class, we were very fortunate this year as we were able to participate in many school events and sports seasons that were taken away from the students last year. Although it may seem that this year's high school students were not negatively affected by this year-old pandemic, I can assure you that was not the case. I was in my last semester of my junior year when we were switched to virtual learning, and luckily at that part of my life I learned all the essential tools I needed to be prepared academically for college at that point in my life. And the same is true for this school year, and I'm grateful that I was taught so much my freshman and sophomore years of high school, because I truly do not believe that I would be college ready had I been taught those important skills through a Zoom call or on a computer screen. While my class may not be that affected by this remote style of learning, I wholeheartedly believe that the 2022, 23, and 24 classes will be affected by that. Our government recognized this possibility and decided to pass a bill that would allow any student to reclassify, providing an incredible opportunity for each of us to stay back another year and learn any and every important piece of information we were not able to learn this school year. From the point of view of the current senior, I was ecstatic to hear this possibility, and I thought it was a great opportunity for all students at Walton Verona. The reasons for all of us, there's 9 of us that put in to stay back, and the reasons for all of us wanting to stay back is different. But one thing that we all have in common through this process is the fact that we saw an opportunity in front of us, and we felt that reclassifying would benefit each of us in a positive way rather than moving on to the next grade level. As I stated before, I truly feel that all the Walton Verona community has the best interest of every student who is enrolled in the school district in mind. And I'm confident in the fact that all 5 of you sitting here before me would do everything you can to make sure all students are assured their education and futures are cared about, and the Walton Verona School Board would never make, or in this case, not make, a choice to negatively affect our future endeavors. I know there are only 9 of us who are pushing for this bill to be passed, and compared to the whole student body, that is a very small number. However, we are still members of the school and community, and we do deserve to be given the opportunity that many students across the whole state are taking advantage of. Passing this bill could alter all of our lives in a bigger way than you might think. And I know for a fact it would prevent a senior girl from having to move on and potentially be unhappy for the next 4 years of her college life. Like I said earlier, I'm sorry. Like I said earlier, my teammates and I were able to play this year, and for that I'm so grateful. All of you saw that. But what you didn't see is the struggle of trying to keep a positive outlook on my future and continuing my basketball career. As college coach after coach called and texted me informing me that my offers to play at their school were taken away due to all of their current players getting to stay back for another year of eligibility, much like the opportunity that KHSAA is presenting to all high school students in our state. I'm relying on an athletic scholarship to help my parents pay for my college education, and I love the game of basketball, and it's always been a dream of mine to play at the college level. With my loss of offers because of COVID-19, the only way that I could do this is to move no less than 7 hours away from my home, and if you choose to pass this bill, I would be able to play another year of high school basketball. Work hard to regain all the offers that were taken from me, and I would be able to take college classes for a cheaper price through Gateway. And overall, I just feel like this would 100% make me feel better about my college career as a whole, rather than being forced to make a last-minute decision about a chapter of my life that is very important. That is a very important factor in the rest of my life. Again, I'm confident that each of you truly care about the well-being of all Walton Verona students and want the best for each and every single one of us. I know the 5 of you want every student to be successful and strive to put us in positions for us to make goals and dreams for ourselves and never stop until we reach them. Being happy at the college I'm at and playing the sport I love is one of my biggest dreams. And if this bill does not pass, I'm not sure I will be able to make that dream a reality. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you and for hearing me out. I hope you consider all of the positives that passing this bill could have for all 9 of our futures, regardless of the decision made here tonight. I love this school and community more than anything, and will always be proud to be here at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. Next is Brant Smithers.
So if you don't know me, I'm Grant Smithers. I'm a junior at Walton Verona, and I play basketball. And I'm here to explain my current situation and why having the supplemental year would greatly benefit myself and the other athletes at our school. Due to the pandemic, the NCAA and NAIA have granted their college athletes a supplemental 5th year. This has caused minimal opportunities for high school athletes like myself and me to get recruited or seen by college coaches in the past year. College teams simply do not need to bring in any freshman athletes because all their existing players are returning because of the supplemental year. It has also caused a record number of 1,600 players to enter the transfer portal because they will be able to play immediately without sitting out for a calendar year after transferring. A college coach would much rather hold on to their existing players or recruit a transfer that's played at the college level before over a high schooler with no college experience. There is simply an overflow of players trying to get recruited currently and not enough existing roster spots for all those players to have.
If a senior in high school is already committed to play at a college, it is more than likely because they committed before the pandemic started. College coaches are only allowed to be in contact with high schoolers during certain periods of the year, and due to the pandemic, most of those were canceled or not used by college coaches. In simple terms, colleges are not recruiting high schoolers currently. It would benefit our student athletes greatly to be able to reclassify and go to another year of high school. It would allow the pandemic to go away and give time for college coaches to start recruiting high schoolers heavily once again. Reclassifying can more than likely be the difference in a scholarship for many of our athletes. With many seniors already announcing they're reclassifying across the state, it would be even harder for myself and other fourth-year seniors to get recognition because we would be playing against hundreds of other fifth-year seniors in the state. For me, it would most likely be the difference in leaving college debt-free versus thousands of dollars in debt. High school students would be allowed to take dual credit classes in their fifth year, and most of their freshman year would be completed before they enter college. As you know, dual credit classes are much cheaper than college courses. It would also benefit myself and others to retake this year's classes because most of them are spent on virtual or hybrid schedules. For example, all my ACT classes were taken virtually and my score suffered because of that. Retaking those in person would improve my score greatly. Other schools across the state have already passed this, and it would be a lost opportunity if this school didn't. Beechwood, Kenton County, and Boone County schools have all passed this, as well as 23 other school districts across the state. Hundreds of kids have already announced that they are reclassifying, and I believe that it would be unfair to our students here if we didn't get this opportunity. The Kentucky Mr. Football is using his reclassification because he had 0 scholarships available to him this year, as well as the leading scorer in the state for basketball had 0 scholarships available to him as well because of the pandemic and the supplemental fifth year for the NCAA. I realize that college ineligibility is a concern for yours, but redshirting freshman athletes is very common at the college level and would be very easy to do if a player ends up ineligible. Most college freshmen get redshirted anyways because it gives them another year to develop and practice against other athletes at the same level as them. It would be more a positive than a negative because you would get 4 more years of play after developing for a year in college. I have personally filled out the NCAA eligibility paper and am certain that wherever I go, I will be eligible my freshman year of college. Basketball is something I've spent countless hours on, working to pursue a dream of playing college basketball. I didn't plan for a pandemic to come during a crucial part of my life, and time and opportunities have been lost in this past year. This extra year would allow myself and the 8 other students at our school to make up for the lost time academically and athletic. I'm not simply looking to use this year to play another year of sports. I want to go to college for free, and this would greatly improve my chances of doing it. Please approve this because it would greatly benefit my future as an athlete and further success as a person. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you both. I know that takes a lot of courage. We appreciate you guys coming out and expressing your feelings and taking the time to do that. We want you guys to appreciate and encourage you. So thank you. Okay. Next, we're going to move into recommended board motions. The first one is the approval of the minutes from April 29th, 2021. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by David. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval of the minutes from the May 20th, 2021.
I'll make it.
First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Kyle. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is approval of the treasurer's report.
I'll make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Kyle. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is approval of the order of the treasurer, the bills.
I'll make it.
First by Heather. Discussions or questions for Kevin? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by David. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is approval of the 2021-2022 tentative budget.
I'll make it.
First by Kyle. So I heard first. Sorry. There's a second? Or any questions or discussions? I'm sorry. Is there a second? Second by Stacy, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval of the 2021-2022 depository bond with Heritage Bank.
I'll make it.
First by Heather, discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Kyle, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval of the 2021-22 Fidelity bonds through Crawford Insurance for K. Ryan and B. Robinson. First by Kyle, discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Heather, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval for the 2021-2022 payroll dates.
I'll make it.
First by Heather, discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Kyle, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval of hire elementary subs for 2021-22. Emergency subs, I'm sorry.
I'll make it.
First by Heather, discussions or questions?
Just the qualifications that they have. Emergency subs can be hired by a school district if they have 64 credit hours, pass criminal background checks.
Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Kyle, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval of Senate Bill 128 supplemental year. Is there a first? Is there a first? First by Stacy. Discussions or questions?
I want to thank both of you for speaking on this. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to get up and speak in front of people. So you guys did a great job there, and I think you did a wonderful job capturing your points. Brian, thanks for the email. I really appreciated that. The time you took to send that. It means a lot to know how this impacts people. I had questions for Mr. Nash. Do we have any updated guidance in terms of eligibility and how that may be impacted?
Not that I've received since last week.
And then what about the ability to take new classes? So if students want to take a new dual credit class, do we know how that would work? No?
We do not.
And then I remember there being an issue with potentially if somebody becomes a fifth-year senior, that was problematic. I can't remember the details, but I know you mentioned that they would be classified a certain way within the school.
I think KDE released that they were going to create, I guess it'd be a G code, like a graduation code, to signal who stayed for the supplemental year. I know that was the last KDE thing that came out, but there was not much more about it. I think it was in the next IC release they were going to include that.
This is one for me that's like really tough because it's heartbreaking hearing how it impacts you. I think about it long term, like in terms of all the students. So I wouldn't want to not give this opportunity to students who would be eligible for it. But on the other hand, when I think about it, this could potentially create missed opportunities that have a cascade effect, like all throughout the school. So if we think about it, if somebody takes another year, from an academic point of view, no issues, but from an athletic point of view, if you're a starter on the team and you play another year, that means that someone who would have become a starter on that team may not get that opportunity. And then that kind of cascades back on down the line. And that's where it becomes a really tough decision for me, because you have to choose between giving this group of students another opportunity and what are the ramifications for all the students that come behind them. And I don't know the answer to that.
I have to agree. This is one of the hardest decisions that we've been faced with. And you guys had tremendous courage to come up and speak your
honestly think have to take a new dual credit class. Like I thought if they took, comp this year, they can't take comp again next
And
year.
that's a university by university choice. I mean, if you've taken the class and you had a 4.0 to retake it, there's nothing better you can do.
Right.
And I know some universities allow auditing of courses, but that is, again, that guidance not even from NCAA, but guidance from Kentucky State University or NKU, who we use for our dual credit classes. We haven't received anything from them on what would happen for a kid to retake like our comp or our FLC at that level, and what would be considered a supplemental. If we had to supplement, what would be equal to that? And KD's guidance says we need to look at the standards of those two courses and find something that is equal to that as we can.
So on one hand, if you have 2 juniors, 2 seniors, whatever they are, and one took a dual credit and one didn't, and this one gets to take another one, and this one gets to take like maybe the first. Is that kind of what?
Depends on how, if one took dual credit and one didn't take dual credit, this would be the same schedule that they had before.
Right, because that's right, because they have to take the exact same.
Right.
But this one gets to take all new classes, possibly.
Possibly under the guidance of that dual credit university.
Each university up to their own.
We have a limited
Right.
offering of classes. It's not, I'm assuming it's not that we just guarantee that we have another 3 or 4 classes that a student can take.
So if we don't have a class that's similar to TIP, what are they going to do?
Then we have to find something that supplements, that may be independent at the university that could fit into their schedule. But if they're, at that point, do we release them from their high school schedule to go to more college classes to find that supplemental class? Or does it have to fit within that schedule window of, that 8 to 2:30? I mean, those are, I would really like some guidance from NKU and KSU to tell us what would supplemental classes be through that, school-based scholar, and that just has not been released to us.
Do we have any idea when it will be released?
I don't even know if it would be on their radar. I mean, that is, I don't know.
It's really hard because it feels like you're just kind of leading without direction, and it's gonna affect you guys if it goes in a different direction, and then it's really hard. I mean, I can't tell you how I've lost sleep over this.
Is this a correct statement?
Sorry to speak up. So I'm reading it, and this says pursuant to guidance from CPE, any graduated senior who wishes to return to take post-secondary coursework just has to do a dual enrollment instead of a dual credit. So I assume that wouldn't be by a certified high school teacher?
Dual enrollment and dual credit are 2 different programs within the high school umbrella. So all of our kids are dual credit, and a senior that would be coming back would have to take dual enrollment. So they would be dually enrolled, kind of like if you're at Northern Kentucky, but you're a guest student at Gateway to take chemistry. You'd be dual enrolled. So I think that's 2 different programs. It comes back to that, to either retake or supplement the courses that they have. That's the stressor in the KDE guidance, and it's the key language in the bill itself.
Is this a correct interpretation? I don't know. Does Senate Bill 128 lay out specifications for a high school, but not at the collegiate level? Is that correct? So my thinking on that is we may be in a situation where Kentucky as a state says, I give you permission to do this, we set this up, but each individual college we work with, like NKU, Kentucky State, they're under no obligation to participate with us in this program. Is Is that correct?
Yeah, it says contact your institution's compliance officer, contact the NCAA customer service, and speak with your high school guidance counselor. Those are the three things that they specify to make sure that they can do. They are stressing that you do to have all the answers. That's the NCAA saying contact the NCAA customer support. So I mean, it's a very complex issue for a one-page law that was enacted.
And we're the only state, that's what I read somewhere. So what are the other colleges doing for incoming freshmen? Are they gonna give them another chance to try out for the team once they join the school? I guess it's a school position.
I want to commend the two of you for speaking. Being a small district, we know all of you. I don't think I've lost sleep over anything I voted on, except this bill. And up until now, I still don't know how it's going to affect everything. And like David said it great. We don't know the ripple effect of this and what it could cause. So I commend you all. I really wish that this was written a little better and there was more guidance, more time, more clarity. There's a lot of unknowns, but thank you for showing up and showing your heart.
There's a lot of people on.
I just want to again thank you guys and let you know that Kyle and David, I echo everything they say. I've been on this board for 9 years, and this is by far the hardest decision I made. I pushed it off, and I pushed it off to put on the agenda up until June 1st is next week, because I wanted to know more, because it just rolled out, and some schools voted on the next week, and they just rolled with it. And I want to be able to say that we did our due diligence as a board, as a superintendent, as a counselor, as a principal. We did our due diligence in researching this to the best of our ability with very little direction from the NCAA, from the colleges, from anyone else. I have talked about this bill, and as well, I'm sure they have, every single day since it came out. Whether it was a coach, whether it was another school board member, whether it was at a regional board meeting with the regional directors, I've talked about this every day. And I sit here before you and I honestly, if I could table it, I would. Because I still am not 100% confident in my vote. I've never not been 100% confident. I've come in here before and someone has swayed my vote because I think they presented really good facts or detailed information. But I can honestly say that I don't know. I think that it is going to be a ripple effect. But I also see the effect it could go out with the 8 or 9 that are applying. The elementary, it's not as an effective thing. The high school, it's an effect. It's going to have an effect on everybody. I just keep going back to personally, the whole academic side of it. That's what has me worried about. What's it going to do when there's no classes taken? What if we say yes and then they come back and say you can't do that? Then are we going to be in accordance with the law and the bill and all there are so many things that I can't answer, and I don't even know who to ask because no one knows. You ask and they're like, well, we don't know. It's not in there. We don't know. It's not this way. So I can honestly say, I know I responded to a couple emails today. I wasn't, or the past couple days. I really don't know. I still don't know. And I really wish we could table this, but there has to be a decision made tonight based on the deadline. So I just thank you guys again, and just know that this is not something that we did not give due diligence to, and we did not research, and we did not follow through and ask lots of questions in lots of schools. I mean, I know the schools that are doing it, I know the schools that aren't doing it, and both of them had very valid points of why they did and why they didn't. So they're in that, they're not helping as far as what my decision was. So I thank you guys for your time and your efforts and coming for us, and we appreciate you guys, and we do love you all, regardless of the outcome that comes tonight. We do love you all, we do care about your futures, and we want you to know that. So, and saying that, is there a second on the second?
I'll second it. I think we need to vote on it. I think we all need to look.
Second by Kyle. All in favor? All opposed? A very sad. Motion fails 0-5. Next, the approval of 2020-2022 tuition rates to be set at $1,600. Is there a motion? First by Stacy, is there a second? Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Approval of the 2021-2022 tuition rate to be set at $1,750. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I still don't think this is addressed enough today. I appreciate this discussion right here.
Is there a second on it?
I'll make it.
Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval of 2021-2022 school fees.
I'll make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions?
I just have one question. In the package that you sent out for middle school, I believe it was, it looks like it's just mirrored. I think
Yeah,
it's just
I saw the same
117,
thing.
but
Okay.
there's like 2 pages.
Was it supposed to be copied? I thought it looked like it was a, yeah.
I'll look into that. If you're missing something, I'll give it to you tomorrow. I apologize. Okay.
I would agree with Dave. I thought it was just the same thing. As far as it's exactly the same. Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Kyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval of the 2021-2022 Walton Verona Certified Evaluation Plan.
I'll make it.
First by David. Discussions or questions? That was a lovely, enjoyable read.
It's a great, like, 85
Put me right to sleep. Yeah. Good times. Is there a second? Second by Heather. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is approval of the creation of the lacrosse team.
I'll make it.
Oh. First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second?
I'll make it.
Second by Kyle. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Sorry. Next is the approval of the 2021-2022 District Code of Conduct. It's by Heather. Discussions or questions?
There's still, the part about, hair, still mentioned on page, I don't know, 28 or something. It's the dress code page. But it's still in that first, paragraph.
Yeah. I talked to a few of our people about that. We kind of thought, maybe one of those things that we can't foresee could come down the pike. And by leaving it in there, it probably didn't hurt anything to head off anything that we can't even foresee. I gave an example. If it suddenly became mode to wear a 3-foot stick in your hair, that could become problematic at school. That would be a decision that the principal could say, hey, we're not doing that. You might remember years ago the really tall mohawk spikes were high. That could be problematic at school. So I want to suggest we just leave it in there as a safeguard. At this point, we're not being hair police over color anymore. I think that's pretty well been put to bed. But, you know, it does give the principals a little bit of discretion if something was way out of line and way out of hand. But certainly, you know, it's an easy fix if we feel strongly enough that we want to take it out.
I just personally believe that sets us up for future liability because we're asking someone to determine what type of hair is acceptable and what type of hair is not. I don't want to say like culturally appropriate, but it gets into that question of like how do we decide? How do we decide if it's a religious reason that you're wearing your hair, or how do we decide if it's a cultural reason that you wear your hair that way? I just think it's a really slippery slope, and I personally would rather not have any mention of hair in there because it just makes it even subjective. Because if red hair is fine now, but what if somebody has 37 shades of different colors in their hair, and someone decides that's not acceptable, or spikes are acceptable, but only if they're 3 inches tall, and we have teachers with rulers trying to measure that. Like, for me, it's just, I would get it out. But, that's just.
Does anybody else have any questions or concerns for Ron? Is there a second on it? Second by Stacy. All in favor of leaving it as it is? 4, all opposed?
Aye.
1. Motion passes 4-1. Next is a revised BG1, the Walton Verona High School for the security vestibule. First by Kyle. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Heather. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is the approval of the 2021-2022 dual credit memorandum of agreement between NKU and Walton Verona Independent Schools. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Stacy. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is approval for contract for occupational therapy service for 2021-2022 through Kristen D. Kelly. First by David. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Kyle. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is approval of contract for physical therapy services for the 2021-22 school through a step ahead pediatric therapy. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Kyle. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next is acknowledgement receipt of a superintendent's personnel actions regarding FMLA leave. Please see employee personnel. Is there a first? First by Kyle. Discussions or questions? Is there a second? Second by Stacy. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Next on the thing is adjournment. First by Heather. Discussions or questions? Is there a second by Kyle? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. We are adjourned at 8:08.